Without objection, the House stands adjourned until 1 p.m. Monday.
Wow, they say everything's bigger in Texas. Look at that guy's gavel. Look at my little gavel. Like, this is sweet. That's the biggest gavel I've ever seen. Don't quote me. That might be the record for the quickest legislative session. Yeah, see, I love my gavel. It's all I need. But that was a big that was like a mallet. That was the Texas legislature. That's been going on all week, by the way. They gavel in and they gavel out because they could not achieve a quorum. Joining me now is Jasmine Crockett. She is the Democratic congresswoman from Texas. She was also a Texas state legislator. And you've seen this show before. You've seen what happens when the majority in the Texas legislature tries to ram something through. You were actually part of the group that sort of set the roadmap for what we are seeing today with these Texas legislators who are out of the state and who have drawn attention to the idea that this is not a Texas problem. This is a everybody problem.
Yeah, absolutely. It is so funny, though, watching them with the gavels. It reminds me of, like, Marjorie, how she throws her tantrums with the gavel. But nevertheless, I just want to say that we all need to extend our thanks and our love to these Texas Democrats, no matter what happens ultimately, because we are having real conversations around gerrymandering. We now have a Republican that has filed a bill to stop mid-decade gerrymandering. It only took a threat of him possibly losing his seat to finally see the light. But nevertheless, you know, we'll take it. And obviously we know that even if the speaker had the audacity to put this bill on the floor, it would never, ever get to the president's desk to actually be signed, because we know that all they care about is pledging their fealty to him, and they don't want to upset him. So this will never go anywhere. But that particular Republican congressman from California is absolutely most likely going to be on the chopping block if California goes forward with this trigger bill.
So Ann Johnson made an interesting point, and it's important to note that redistricting, if done properly, is probably a necessary thing. Our population shifts, all sorts of things happen. But this is not redistricting. This is as blatantly partisan, gerrymandering, anti-democratic stuff as you can get, and nobody's hiding it. Literally, Donald Trump rolled up and said, "I need 5 more seats," and I've never seen people fold so fast in my life.
No, it's not just even the fact that it's gerrymandering. I want to be clear. This is racial gerrymandering specifically in the state of Texas. Now, I can't speak about other states, but I can absolutely speak on my state that is a majority minority state. And the fact is, when we ultimately did our actual redistricting in 2021, when we got the numbers, it said that 95% of the growth was due to people of color. And so therefore, Texas, that was growing leaps and bounds, was entitled to 2 additional seats. But unfortunately, they didn't feel like minority voices were entitled to have representation, even though they were the reason that they got those seats. So not only did they give us 2 new Anglo seats, and the reason that I say it's not just strictly partisan is because when we got those 2 new seats, they were both Anglo majority seats. One went to a Democrat, one went to a Republican. This is racial at this point. And now they're saying, you know what, we want 2 more Anglo majority seats. And so now here it is. You're going to get 4 Anglo new majority seats. And this is just about fairness. It's about making sure that we honor our Constitution, because literally in the 15th Amendment, it is about making sure that all people have representation. And right now, African Americans are only going to have 1/5 of the voting power that they should have in the state of Texas under this map. And we know that our Latino brothers and sisters will only have 1/3 of the voting power. And frankly, Asians, which tend to be one of the fastest growing demographics in the state of Texas, have literally no power.
Do you hear the stuff they're saying about Gene Wu, by the way, talking about Asians, like how he's connected to the Chinese Communist Party? Like the racism, they're not doing a great job of keeping it on, keeping the lid on that pot.
No, I mean, honestly, when Trump came in the first time, they started to lift the hoods. Once Trump got in a second time, they decided the hoods were off. And listen, I'm perfectly fine with it, because I want to know where you stand. I want to know that you're a despicable human being who lacks all morality, but wants to go around and teach and preach Christianity. I want to know who you are, because then I know how to deal with you. It is unfortunate that that is where we are. And it is one reason that it is so difficult for minorities to even try to to listen to Republicans because they consistently coddle people like neo-Nazis. They consistently uplift people such as the Proud Boys. As we know, so many of those January 6ers were part of some of these extremist organizations, and now they have decided, you know what, you are best qualified to work for ICE. You are best qualified to go and terrorize these communities of color and round them up and throw them in random cages where hopefully they will be treated inhumanely.
A quick question for you, because you're a lawyer. Why would Kash Patel take John Cornyn's phone call about getting the FBI to round up people? I don't know what the crime is.
There is no crime.
We begin with the Texas Democrats, who are facing a full-blown retaliation campaign after fleeing the state to block a Trump-backed redistricting plan. Governor Greg Abbott is asking the Texas Supreme Court to expel the House Democratic leader from office. Attorney General Ken Paxton has filed a lawsuit demanding that 13 House Democrats be declared vacant from their seats. Plus, Senator John Cornyn says the FBI has signed off on his request to deploy federal agents to help locate the missing lawmakers. Governor Abbott told NBC Thursday night that he plans to amp up the pressure even more.
We are in the process, as we speak right now, of searching for, preparing to arrest Democrats who may be in Texas, may be elsewhere. But I'll tell you this also. Democrats act like they're not going to come back as long as this is an issue. That means they're not going to come back until like 2027 or 2028, because I'm going to call special session after special session after special session with these same agenda items on there. And that means they are going to be refusing to return to the state of Texas, as one state representative said, not until after the elections in 2026. That constitutes an abandonment of office.
Democrats disagree, and they have held strong since they left the state on Sunday.
Make no mistake about it, we are running from nothing. We see the danger that is coming, and we are running straight for it.
If our voices no longer matter, if what we say no longer matters, then there is no democracy left. The republic has fallen.
They want to take us back. They literally want to take us back by disenfranchising black and brown communities. And we say no. No, we say hell no. Not on our watch. We will not allow you to turn back the clock.
Joining us now, State Representative Ron Reynolds, one of the Democrats you just heard saying hell no, and Matthew Dowd, Chief Strategist for the Bush-Cheney 2004 presidential campaign and a former candidate for Texas Lieutenant Governor. He is now a senior MSNBC political analyst. Good morning to you both. Representative, I want to start with you. You and your colleagues have had two bomb threats. The Texas, everybody in Texas that's a Republican or looks like a Republican is being sent to look out for you. But now you also have the FBI, apparently, according to your Senator John Cornyn, saying that they are going to be fine with looking for you guys. Have you heard from any of you or your colleagues, heard from the FBI or any federal agency saying we're on our way?
No, but Eugene, it's great to be on with you and Jonathan. We haven't heard directly from the FBI, but they don't usually forecast that they're coming to look for you. So we don't have any disbelief or any illusion that Kash Patel would not seek the FBI to weaponize them against us, because Senator Cornyn and President Trump, this is what they have rubber stamped. So we do know that we could be in peril, but in the spirit of good trouble, we're not no ways tired, and we're going to keep pressing forward. We're not going to be intimidated. We're not going to cower to them and run back to Texas so they can roll this racial gerrymandered bill down our throats to disenfranchise our communities, particularly black and brown folks. So, no, we don't know if the FBI is looking for us, but they certainly may be.
Matthew, as a Texan, I'm just wondering how you think this is playing with your fellow Texans. They're watching this play out. The representative isn't in Texas. His fellow Democrats aren't in Texas. You've got the governor saying, we're going to find them, we're going to arrest them. They're accusing them being, abandoning their office. Is there a risk for the governor and the attorney general and the president of the United States of overreaching here in the minds of Texans?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, my view is that there's no one that I've talked to in Texas, independents, Republicans, that feels that Republicans are underrepresented in Texas. I mean, that is such a joke because they right now hold 2/3 of the congressional seats, which is an overrepresentation already today, even before this bill, and every statewide office in this. What I think most Texans are is, why aren't you guys dealing with the important issues like the flood stuff that happened in Hunt and around the Guadalupe River? Why aren't you dealing with other issues, insurance costs and all those other things? Why was this the first item that you said had to be done on the special election agenda, knowing that this was going to happen in the course of this? So I think most Texans are sort of upset about the leadership of the state. The question becomes, will these Republicans suffer at the ballot box in 2026? And that's up to Texans, and especially independent Texans, to decide enough's enough. We're not going to have these folks represent us anymore. But most Texans, as I say, are just upset that why aren't these elected officials dealing with the important issues?
Representative, you guys have fines against you that are piling up. NBC reporting that you guys face a $500 fine for each day they're, quote, absent without leave. Those fines have already eclipsed the $600 monthly salary the lawmakers receive. Also, it appears that they're forcing you guys to go and get your checks now, and they've canceled your, that little check, to cancel your direct deposit, to try to force you to come and get both your checks and your per diem that you guys get a day. How long do you really believe that you guys can hold out? I know you're going to say it for a long time. I know you said you're no ways tired, but these fines will pile up. You guys will be gone from your family members for a long time. How long are you willing to be out of the state?
Eugene, it is a sacrifice, and I would be lying to you if I said, forever. But I can tell you right now, our resolve is stronger than it's ever been. We are digging in and we're fighting. The American people and Texans want to see Democrats fight. Yeah. They're sick of seeing the bully authoritarian president run over Democrats. And we said, no.
This fight is nowhere near over. And yet, Democrats and really citizens have scored a massive victory here. Because at least for right now, it looks like Texas is backing down. They're basically passing the pro forma law, whatever you want to call it, procedure or whatever, to sort of disassemble the Texas legislature because Democrats have stayed away long enough. And this is ruining the Trump rally, his rallying effort to gerrymander every red state even harder. And there's not going to be people around. You might not even, I don't know, people don't stick around at the legislature. He'd be lucky to have 5 people stick around to meet with him or what have you. I don't know. What I do know is that Democrats need to keep fighting. And frankly, I think they should still go ahead and crush Republicans. The original move was, if Texas gerrymanders hard, if they do a mid-census redistricting, remember, districting is supposed to be done every 10 years. That's the general rule. If they do a mid-jurisdiction change to gerrymander Texas, you'll see responses in New York and you'll see responses in California and maybe other states as well. But now I just think they should do it. Just do it. Because fundamentally, you need to understand that Republicans will only ever learn if you crush them. And frankly, I don't think Republicans will ever learn. The Republican Party needs to be in the dustbin of history. It needs to be defeated. The United States needs to move eventually to a system where the two parties are a Bernie party and a Biden party, and that's the left versus right. Until that happens, the United States won't be solved of its existential fascist crisis. They have to crush the GOP.